The NBA season is up and running. Hello and welcome to Fox Sports Lab NBA. I'm your host, Ben Dixon, and joining me is NBA expert Jaymz Clements. Welcome, Jaymz.
Thank you, Dicko. I'm giddier to be here than Josh Giddey on the Gravitron. The NBA season's here. You stoked?
I am absolutely stoked. So coming up, we apply the full court press to the comeback kids and we look ahead to some huge matchups on buzzer beaters. It's full court press time. Let's get straight into it. Nets and the Pelicans clash. Ben Simmons came back to take on Zion Williamson. How good is that?
I'm just stoked to have him back, Dicko. Aren't we all, though? Like, this is the best part of the season. We get to see the fresh faces back there, out there, on the court once again. Ben Simmons, I'll tell you what, he is the exact elixir for this Nets team that they need. They've got the scorers, they've got Kyrie, they've got KD. Simo, once he works his way back into this season, just watch him go out, go hammer and tongs, maybe win Defensive Player of the Year, Dicko. I love that idea. Him against Zion in that first game of the season for them. Like, this is exactly what we pay all our big bucks for, isn't it? Zion, he's the big rig. You're excited to see him get out there, just start, yamming on dudes. He might average 30 points a game this season, Dicko. I'm excited. Just after such a long stint on the sideline, that for both of them, I'm just excited to have him back in my life.
Well, who wins that battle?
I think, we'll already know, but it'll be probably Zion, I reckon. I'll tell you that much.
Well, tell me about the two big names returning for the Battle of LA.
The Battle of LA, the Clippers versus the Lakers this weekend. I can't wait for this one. I'll tell you what, the Lakers were humiliated the other day, Dicko. Humiliated. The hands of the Warriors. The Warriors had their ring ceremony. The Lakers came out flatter than tarmac. It was brutal. But we've got Kawhi Leonard back and we've got Anthony Davis back for the Lakers. You saw him on Wednesday. And, he's basically back to being the basketball-playing velociraptor. We all love and want to just keep seeing more of, right? He's prime AD, and he's going to be so important to this Lakers team this year. Everything's going to revolve around him. We know that LeBron's good. Is LeBron James? Of course he's good. But Anthony Davis is going to be the key to that Lakers season, right? If he can be the sort of top 5 NBA player that we expect and love, then off we go. And Kawhi back for the Clippers. He's the exact sort of, topping point for this Clippers team that can take them, essentially cruise through this regular season, get to the playoffs, unleash Kawhi, maybe run for the title.
Who wins?
I'm going to say Clippers, easily.
Like it. Dame is back for Portland, but there's a new addition you want to touch on.
I love Dame. I absolutely love Dame Lillard. There's just so much talent, just so much fun in his game, but he can't do it all himself, Dicko. I'll tell you that much. We saw last year, we've seen in years previous, Dame averaged like 28 points a game last time we saw him play a full proper season. They've added Jeremiah Grant. I love Jeremy Grant. Last saw him on the Pistons. He comes to Portland. Off we go. He is kind of the sort of do-everything player that Portland exactly need. A bit of offense, bit of defense, can sort of do it all. He's a big wing that they can sort of throw on either bigs, the sort of faster players on the perimeter. He just gives them a defensive versatility that I think Portland desperately needed next to big Jusuf Nurkic, the big Bosnian bear, and of course Dame. You need players like that. And I think this is the one sort of thing with Portland where he could be the big difference between them going over 38.5 wins, that sort of vibe for where they were, or under. If he has a good season, he turns them into a completely different team.
Geez, you're out of the blocks hard on this one. I like what you've produced. That was Full Court Press.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome to Nothing But Net. I'm with the man himself, and he never misses, Jaymz Clements. Welcome, Jaymz.
Thank you, Dicko. They call me the even more ginger Larry Bird. What do you reckon?
Oh, I love it. Straight up, can Denver take Golden State on the road?
This weekend, it's going to be massive. I can't wait. Denver, Golden State. You've got Nikola Jokic, the back-to-back MVP, going up against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the reigning champion Golden State Warriors. I don't think they can, because, I don't know, will they? Maybe. I don't know. I just don't know, Dicko, because the way this Denver season is playing out, right? They're going to get their dudes back. They're going to get Jam and Jamal Murray. They're going to get Michael Porter Jr., but it's going to take a while for that to sort of really come to fruition. I think they go into this matchup against Golden State first up. They give them all they can sort of handle, but we saw Golden State actually defend Joker pretty well last year. I think Golden State can probably eke this one out, but I'll tell you what, later in the season, it's going to be a very, very different proposition once they get fit and firing that Denver Nuggets team. I am all on board with that Nuggets team. I'll tell you that much, Dicko.
Well, that's your signature now going forward. The fans, will they? I'm not sure. Won't they? You answer your own questions, which I love. All right, who dominates the home court for Miami against Boston?
Well, can Boston win this, Dicko? Maybe. Will they? We don't know yet either. But at the same time, I'll tell you what, Boston, I love what I saw against the Sixers in their opening match of the season, because they just sort of proved that they've got all this perimeter talent. Like, it's horrifyingly hard to score against them sometimes. It's also like they just go off tap. We saw, over 30 points for both Tatum and Brown. This game, 100%, we saw them play in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. All those games, basically, it was a slog. It was a hard effort. The unders were all hitting. It was just a chaos sort of series where the team that sort of essentially broke free would win the game. And we saw Boston obviously win out in the end. I think they can take this one on the road as well. I just think that perimeter talent's a little bit too big, a little bit too much for Miami. It will be a really good game, because I'll tell you what we saw in that first game against the Sixers was the addition of Malcolm Brogdon. He just gives the Celtics so much more versatility off the bench. He looks awesome.
Off the bench, well, good segue. Who's your sixth man?
Oh, there we go. That is pretty good, isn't it?
Loved it.
I like that. Sixth man of the year. I actually really like Malcolm Brogdon. I call him El Presidente. He's got that presidential bearing. They love him off the bench there in Boston. He's going to give that Celtics team everything they sort of need, because he was going to have a bigger impact than you'd expect. He might not have the counting stats that, sixth man of the year usually has, like your Tyler Hero, who won it last year. He might win it again, but the thing is, he might play too much, like in the starting unit for that Miami Heat, who need a kick in the pants sometimes, shooting-wise, offensively. And of course, we've got Jordan Poole, though, in Golden State. If he's not getting punched in the face by Draymond Green, he's out there dropping bombs. You love to see it. Jordan Poole, he's going to get so much shine, right? Because his entire job is to basically do a combination of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And he does a really good job of that. They're going to be on TV all the time this season as well. Poole is probably going to win this, but keep an eye out for Brogdon. I love him. And also, Kevin Love and the Cavs. He might have gotten robbed last year from not winning it, but he plays an important role too, Dicko.
Well, I wasn't lying, was I? You never miss. On fire as we get to buzzer beaters next.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
It's buzzer beaters, James. Let's get straight into it. Thoughts on the Bucks versus Sixers and Giannis versus Embiid?
I love this game, Dicko. This is awesome. You've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, you've got Joel Embiid. A couple of MVP candidates this year, I reckon, and also, I'm just saying, probably two of the Eastern Conference contenders, obviously, but I've picked Milwaukee to win the title. I don't think they win this game, however. They don't have Chris Middleton. He's out to start the season with a wrist injury. But essentially, with Giannis and Embiid, we've still got Alien versus Predator. This is great. What's the tagline there, Dicko? No matter who wins, we lose, and away we go. But it's going to be a huge matchup to start this season, because it's a tone setter. You've got a lot of extra additions on that Sixers team, a lot of new faces. We saw them lose to Boston. I think they turn it around, and I think we get a massive game out of both Giannis and Embiid. Like, we're talking, maybe triple-double there for Giannis. Pretty easy sort of looks at rebounds, points for Embiid. This is going to be huge, but I think the Sixers get over the line in the end.
All right, what's your take on the playoff rematch between Dallas and Phoenix?
Dallas-Phoenix, again, great. Another playoff rematch. This is so good. I love that we've got such a delight to start this season, Dicko, because in terms of Dallas-Phoenix, we saw basically Dallas humiliate the Suns in their the end of their playoff series last year. It was just a demoralisation of the poor Suns, which, to be honest, they've got Chris Paul on their team. They're not really the poor Suns. They're more the annoying Suns. But at the same time, Dallas are going to be awesome this year, built around Luka. They need to get this season off to a flying start, because essentially the West is going to be an absolute bloodbath this year, Dicko. So you need to win right off the bat, I think, to get your season started. Dallas have got those extra weapons. They've got Christian Wood. They've got Luka driving everything. They lose Jalen Brunson, but we've seen that essentially with their combination of sort of offense, the big wings on either side of Luka, it's a recipe for success, especially against Phoenix. We saw them do it already. So I think Dallas can win this one. I think it'll be a massive, awesome game, though.
All right, let's turn our attention to Utah, Minnesota. Rudy Gobert against his old team. Are we expecting fireworks in this one?
I don't know how, fiery the big Frenchman gets, the Staffel Tower, they call him, big Rudy Gobert. But this is the Rudy Gobert Bowl. He got traded from Utah to Minnesota. The thing is, with this remaining Utah Jazz roster, there's not much there, Dicko.
There's not?
There's not much there, I'll tell you that much. In terms of size that they could actually throw at Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota, it's basically rookie Walker Kessler. They don't have too many other names, really. They've got Kelly Olynyk, the big Canadian. silly beard. I'm not one to talk really though, but what are we talking about?
Yours is not silly.
Thank you. But still, this entire vibe of like Utah, Minnesota are going to smash them. And I think this is going to be an absolute just like statement game for Rudy to come out, for Karl Anthony Towns to sort of play off his new massive teammate. The Twin Towers, they would dominate this poor Utah Jazz team, I'll tell you that much.
You're outstanding today. You're up and about.
Thank you.
The opening week was good for you. All right, that was Buzzer Beaters, a massive show and a massive start to the new season. Enjoy the opening week. Make sure you subscribe below and we'll see